All right, welcome to this first video of if hymns were in different modes. We're going to take a look at Amazing Grace today. And this hymn you'll find in the hymn book. And I'm going to use a little different chords you might find in the hymn book. But the chords here, I'm going to show them to you, that we'll be using for this video are these ones right here. And the song's in 3/4 time, and the first beat here is on Amazing Grace. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. And so there's chord changes at the beginning of each, several measures, not every measure. But we're going to play it in the key of G. That's 1 sharp, and the first chord is the 1 chord, the G chord. Then C, which is the 4 chord. Then G, which is the 1 chord. Then G again, which is the 1 chord. G, the 1 chord. D7, which is the 5/7. And then G, which is the 1 chord. Then back to the 4 chord C. Then G again, the 1 chord. Then G, the 1 chord. D, or the 5 chord, 5/7. We'll probably play the 7 there too. And then G, which is the 1 chord. And the first mode I'm going to demonstrate is just the one that it's written in, which is the Ionian mode, or just the major scale. And I've got it written down right here. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And the major scale is this, the pattern is whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Okay, from B to C is a half step, meaning there's no notes in between. And then whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. All right, let me show it what it looks like on the keyboard. From G to A, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. It's these notes right here. That's G, the G major scale, and those are G major is what the song is written in. That's what you're used to hearing it in. All right, so it might sound something like this. All right, now what's interesting about this song is that the melody is pentatonic, meaning it only uses notes from the G major pentatonic scale. It doesn't have the half step notes in there in the melody. All right, the melody only uses these notes from the G scale. And if you play these notes, this is what makes the pentatonic G major pentatonic scale. And a lot of songs only they have a pentatonic melody. And this is one of them. So the modes that we might use, the 7 modes of the major scale, many of them will not alter the melody. So I'm going to use 2. One that will alter the melody considerably, which is the Aeolian mode, and that is just the natural minor scale. All right, so that would be, if we're going to leave it in the key of G, and we do G Aeolian or just G minor, then we have G. The G Aeolian scale comes from the parent scale B flat. Okay, so it's just like playing a B flat scale, but starting it on the G note. Okay, the Aeolian is always the 7th. It's built off the 6th note of the major scale, and that gives you your natural minor. When I learned my scales, I learned C and then the relative minor, A minor. So I play a C major scale, and then the relative minor. That's just a C scale, but starting on the key of A. That gives you A Aeolian. Okay, well we're in G. Here's your G major scale. Its relative minor is E. We're not going to use the relative minor. We're going to just use the parallel minor, which is G minor. It's a B-flat scale starting from the 6th degree, which is G Aeolian. And it has a B-flat and an E-flat. All the other notes are natural. There's your G Aeolian. Now what would it sound like if Amazing Grace was played in G Aeolian? Well, take a look. The pentatonic melody of Amazing Grace is going to be altered. This melody note will now be played here, and this melody note will be played here. The chords of Amazing Grace, instead of having a G major here, the G now is going to be a minor chord. So will the F. In fact, all of them will be minor. G, C minor, G minor, G minor, G minor, D minor, G minor, C minor, G minor, D minor, C, G minor. So it's just basically playing Amazing Grace in a minor key. Let's hear how it sounds. All right, so that is Amazing Grace in a minor key. You may have heard it before. You know, a lot of times we'll just transpose to the relative minor, to the parallel minor for some variety. But now the pentatonic melody has been altered. Now, the other mode I'm going to demonstrate is the, well, actually, before I go on to the next one, I want to show you a great way to get the sound of a mode is to play the entire song over a pedal point. So if we're going to do G Aeolian, hold the G in the bass and change the chords accordingly in the right hand, and that'll give you the sound of a certain mode. So if I just think in the key of B flat and play chords and notes and melody lines from the key of B flat over a G note in the bass, it's going to give me the sound of the Aeolian mode. All right, now let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to play Amazing Grace in Aeolian, and I'm going to change the chords in the right hand a little bit. I'll keep the melody, what we just heard, but I'm going to keep a G note pedal point in the left hand. Nope, start over. Here we go. Ready? All right, let's do, now the next one is, we're gonna look at, and let's see how Amazing Grace would sound in G mixolydian. Now mixolydian is a major mode. It differs, excuse me, it differs from the major scale in that it has a natural 7, or well, I guess you could say a flat 7 instead of the raised 7. All right, let me show you. Here, you got the first note, the first degree, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Okay, now this would just look like this now. And this now is a whole step. And this now is a half step. This is what G mixolydian looks like. It's a C. The parent scale is the C scale. So, this is the notes of G mixolydian, coming from the parent scale of C. The mixolydian mode is built off of the 5th note of the major scale, the 5th degree of the major scale. So if I were to say G mixolydian, then you know we're talking about the parent scale of C. It's C scale off of starting on the note G. All right, so all white notes. Now, the the melody is not altered or affected by this change. The only thing that will be changed is the harmony notes. Now, in our chords here, this D7 is no longer a D dominant 7 or a D major chord with a flat 7. It is now a minor 7. So the D, instead of being played like this with the D7 like this, we have that natural F. Okay? So it doesn't give as quite of a powerful resolution from the 5 to the 1. If you hear this, then you hear this afterwards. Very powerful resolution. This, not as much. Nope. Doesn't quite have that drive to the 1 chord. And so let's hear how this sounds. Amazing Grace in the mode, mixolydian mode. Let's try it with a pedal point. Instead of changing the bass to match the chord, I'm going to play the whole song with some different chords in the right hand, but a pedal point of G in the left hand, so you get that sound of the mode, all those chords contextualized over a G note, and you get the sound of the mode. Ready? So the slight difference there, I actually like the sound of that a lot. I would use this. In fact, you don't always have to just take a song and play it in a certain mode the whole time, but I love the sound of that flat 7 chord substituted for the 5. So instead of going to a D, I go to an F before I resolve on the G. You'll hear this a lot in reharmonizations, especially of hymns. When you get to that 5-7, it's a really great substitution for the 5 chord, and sometimes it'll precede the 5 chord. We'll go, or it'll follow the 5 chord. But that's a great substitution, and it gives it that mixolydian variety for just a moment. But let me go ahead. I'm going to transpose from the Ionian mode into the Aeolian mode and then into the mixolydian mode, and I'll take a solo in each mode also to kind of drive home the sound as well. So starting in Ionian, then let's go Ionian, mixolydian to Aeolian. Okay, I'll kind of go darker, and we'll end on the dark note.